I'm very happy that we're gathered here for this event. It's actually my first time to organize an event like this because I'm passionate about stories and I will explain more of that later. But thank you so much for being here. We have an international community. We have teachers from the United States. It's actually a World Teachers Day, so Auxiliary from the United States, welcome. We have friends from China. Rui, thank you, and your friend. Very good. We have someone as well, a special guest from Poland. Thank you so much. And we have, of course, from Spain, and everyone's here. And basically, we are here to have a good time and to basically enjoy each other's company and to appreciate art because at the end of the day, it's what brings people together. So, I am Angelo Lorenzo, and later I will introduce the cast and crew of my play. I wrote 2 stories for this specific show because I wanted to try out to express how stories and narratives can bring people from all walks of life. Right now, I am currently living in Spain. I live in Benidorm, but I come here for the show to host it for you guys so that you will have a great night and a great time together. And it's an opportunity for us to appreciate our experiences, our moments, our memories, because after all, at the end of the day, it's stories that really live on. Our lives may change, our experiences may change, countries may become united or divided, but it's our stories and our experiences, and our personal experiences that really, really stand the test of time. So, I prepared something as an introduction for all of us. Tonight, I will present 2 stories that I made. One is a short story, which I will recite later, like a monologue. And later, we are privileged to witness the talents of my fellow Filipino creators, Daryl Abea and Clarence Barrero. They will be voicing out the characters that I have created for a one-act play that I made. And I prepared a greeting, and usually we have this as our common greeting in whatever language we use. In English, we say welcome. In Spanish, of course, it's bienvenido. In Balantian, we say benvinguts. And in Filipino, we say mabuhay. Mabuhay in Filipino does not literally translate to welcome. It's more about long live. Okay? So when you greet someone, mabuhay, it means you are wishing for that person to live long and to live prosperously, to flourish in life, to become successful, and to be able to do great in things that they love to do. So, before we begin, I would like to ask ourselves, what exactly is the relevance of stories? I have mentioned the definition earlier about how stories connect all people, all people from all walks of life. But what truly is the relevance of stories? Now, I want us to remember these terms: communication, understanding, culture, and empathy. These are some concepts that are associated with how stories drive us to become better human beings. And because of this, I would like to share a personal experience, just as I've made my personal experiences as my inspiration for the stories that I tell. I first arrived in Spain in 2022 as a language and conversation assistant. So I came here to teach English, as many of you here are in the audience. And that's my purpose. When someone asked me, Angelo, where did you visit before you came to Spain? The answer is, I've gone nowhere because I've lived all my life in the Philippines, and Spain is the first country that I've been to abroad. So in this picture, these are all taken in 2022. In the rightmost photo, we can see that this was taken in Manila, the capital of the Philippines. I was looking at the street and wondering if my life in Spain would be successful, what was I gonna do, because it's my first time to be here. And when you're in your first time, everything you feel fear, you feel anxiety, but then again there comes an excitement. I was felt comforted by the fact that I have companions with me. I am not the only language and conversation assistant that came here, but we are a lot together. And as you can see, this is me in the striped shirt. This was taken in Madrid, Barajas Airport, when I first landed in the Philippines. And I met a lot of Filipinos who are assigned in different countries or autonomy in Spain, like different regions. I was assigned in Alicante or Comunidad Valenciana, as many of you are. And some of my fellow Filipino auxiliaries or language assistants have been assigned in the north, like Galicia, País Vasco, these beautiful places that are so different from the Spain that we know of today. And we are scattered everywhere. And from our experience, we develop some sort of companionship, some sort of camaraderie, that we experience one thing, we experience another thing, and then when we talk about it, we realize that, hey, we have the same experiences. We go through the same problems, we go through the same troubles, we go through the same excitements in life. And it's like we have one way to cope, and our ways of coping are more similar than our differences. So, in my case, that's the reason why I wanted to organize this kind of event, is for us to really get to know that there are more things in common among us than our differences. So when I arrived in Benidorm, I was assigned there in one school. I worked in Benidorm in a school in Benidorm for 2 years. The name is Gabriel Miro. And this was me in my first year, and this was the other photo was me in my second year. But right now, I work in a language academy. So basically, I'm no longer an auxiliar, but I work as a professional teacher. And I still provide that purpose, that very same purpose of when I arrived in Spain, to teach English, to teach the new generation of Spanish citizens how to communicate, to understand, and to master their skills in the English language. And there are many of us auxiliars around Alicante. So not only Filipinos, but also Americans, British, talented people from English-speaking countries. And we are privileged to be here, to be able to share our talents and to be able to help in the educational initiative of the Spanish government to enrich their future generations to become progressive people in the future. So, how do we make the most of language? Because that's our main purpose here, to teach English. It's through stories. Whenever I teach my students the language of English, I always tell them, English is not just a technique, but it is also a way of life. And it's not only English as a language, but also Spanish, also Polish, also French, also German, also Filipino and Chinese and Mandarin. So whatever language we teach or whatever language we learn, there's always that value that it's not just for technical communication, but it's also coming from the heart. As we can see in the picture here, this was taken in 2020 during the time when the coronavirus pandemic was a problem around the world. And it's because of that we find something in common among ourselves. We face the same problems, we face the same anxiety. Will it ever end? Will the pandemic ever make us survive? Will we ever get through this? So it is through these information, through these stories, that we are able to realize that we are also experiencing the same kind of issues that any country around the world at that time was dealing with. It just matters on how we were able to overcome it. Some countries were able to develop faster, but some countries were able to develop slower. So it matters on that end. This photo was taken in 2023 when there was a writers' strike in New York, in the United States, and specifically in Hollywood, where a lot of people suffered due to the advancement of technology. Now, I'm not saying that the advancement of technology is wrong. I'm saying that when technology replaces real human beings, that becomes a problem, because how else will the writers or artists thrive? How else will we be able to feed ourselves? Because if we lose our jobs, if we lose our livelihood, how are we going to feed our family? What are we going to eat? How are we going to earn money? So it is through these issues that we begin to empathize with the people who are affected. And as you can see, the most recent calamity that we have observed is basically the consequences of war. Israel and Palestine have their issues as well, but when do we learn? We have had 2 world wars already, and we have not yet learned enough. We still do it. We still we still see it on the news, but basically there's still no end to this. So this is why stories matter. In the recent issue I also integrated an issue in my country. Some of the Filipino fishermen are struggling because a larger Asian country is trying to invade our islands. As you can see, the Philippines was once a colony of Spain, but we have gone through liberation from that, and we've become a colony of the United States. But this could also be a reason why the Philippines might be facing another conflict someday, and some of our citizens, especially those in the impoverished level of our society, are the ones who are most affected because they depend on fishing for their livelihood. And one of the most recent events is the dictatorship that happened in Venezuela. So because of that administration, it robbed people of their liberty and their right to life and free speech. And during last summer, Portugal also suffered a massive heat wave that made their forests burn. So this is why a lot of stories can happen, whether it's technological, whether it's economical, whether it's health, like the pandemic, and also environmental. So, going back to our 4 terms: communication, understanding, culture, and empathy. These are basically what sums up the relevance of stories. We use language to communicate. We use language to understand each other. We use language to learn about our culture and find out that there is more common to us than what our differences are. And because of that, we develop empathy. Empathy is what makes us who we are and what makes us to become better people. No matter where we come from, whether we come from the Philippines, whether we come from the States, or whether we come from Spain, we all are capable of empathy. And that's why stories matter for us to develop that integral human value.